Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on Variant, I give you the alternate versions of Spider-Man because you all wanted it. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than Spider-Man hates Green Goblin for throwing Gwen Stacy off a bridge. I'm your host, Arris Quinones. Ever since I started doing alternate versions of character episodes, most of you have been requesting I do Spider-Man, so today I'm going to fill that request. Plus, I thought it was a good way to close out Heroes Month. I do want to mention, however, there's a ton of different versions of Spider-Man, especially after the somewhat recent Spider-Verse event. With that said, there is no way I'll be able to mention every single solitary version of Spider-Man, so there's no need to say, you forgot one, Arris, because I didn't forget. I just can't talk about every single version of Spider-Man because there is so many of them, but I will try to talk about a good amount of them, so hopefully I mention some of your favorites. But without any further ado, let's talk some Webhead. Let's kick this off with the Spider-Man everyone in the world knows, the classic Earth 616 and/or original Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He first appeared in Amazing Fantasy 15 in August of 1962, and since then has become one of the top 3 most recognizable superheroes in the entire world. Over the years, this version of Peter Parker has donned many different Spider-Man costumes besides his classic red and blue. Some of my favorites being the Iron Spider suit, which was given to him by Tony Stark during Civil War, his stealth costume or big time costume, which he created to combat the Hobgoblin Sonic Screams, the Future Foundation costume, which was given to Spider-Man upon joining the Future Foundation as part of Johnny Storm's last will and testament, his spider armor when the new enforcers attacked New York using high caliber firearms. Spider-Man created this spider armor suit. My favorite out of his different costumes over the years is his black symbiote costume, which, as we all know, eventually went to Eddie Brock, creating Venom. After Spider-Man removed the symbiote suit, his girlfriend at the time, Black Cat, made a non-living duplicate, as she thought it was sexier than his red and blue suit. And let's face it, if Black Cat thinks it's sexier, you listen. And lastly, you have his most recent costume that will make its comic debut in October, which we were given a sneak peek of a few weeks ago. Spider-Man writer Dan Slott said the things this suit will be able to do and the innovations that Peter Parker has put into the suit will be astounding. Needless to say, I'm very curious to see the suit in action. Moving on from the original Earth 616 Spider-Man, we have Ultimate Peter Parker Spider-Man, or more specifically Earth 1610 Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is a modernized reimagining of Marvel's long-running Spider-Man comic book franchise as part of its Ultimate Marvel imprint. So much stayed the same with this version of Peter Parker Spider-Man, with various changes here and there to update the character. This Peter Parker was later killed, however, and we got a new Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which is actually one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man. Miles discovers spider powers of his own after he was bitten by a spider 11 months before Peter's death, and he uses these powers to be the best superhero he can be. It was recently revealed that he will become the main Marvel Universe's Spider-Man this fall, which I'm super excited for. Moving along to some clones, we have the first successful clone of Spider-Man, who was created by the Jackal, and that clone would be Kane. He has since been cured of his cellular degeneration and currently acts as the new Scarlet Spider, wearing that awesome black and red costume. Then you have Ben Reilly, the second clone of Spider-Man, who was also created by the Jackal. He is most widely known as the first Scarlet Spider who wore that blue hoodie. I actually really like his costume and always have, and I'm not really sure why, it just looks really cool to me. Reilly later replaced Peter Parker for a time as Spider-Man, wearing a costume that was a fresh take on the classic red and blue Spider-Man suit. Keeping this train of Spider-Man moving, we have a favorite of mine, Spider-Man 2099. In the year 2099, Miguel O'Hara's boss secretly got him addicted to a drug. Miguel tried to cure himself, but of course the experiment went wrong and he was granted spider-like powers. This futuristic Spider-Man has different powers from the original Webhead, like organic webbing and retractable talons. I also like how this is basically just the equivalent of the futuristic Batman, Batman Beyond, even though Spider-Man 2099 was first, which I guess technically means Batman Beyond is the equivalent of Spider-Man 2099. Next, we have Spider-Man Noir from Earth 9214. This alternate take on the Spider-Man mythos is set in 1933 during the Great Depression. Peter Parker tragically discovered the mutilated body of his Uncle Ben, killed in retaliation by one of New York City's businessmen for organizing a strike on sweatshops. One day, a spider statue breaks open and releases a horde of spiders. One of the spiders bit Peter, causing him to pass out and dream of a spider god. After waking up, Peter discovered he possessed arachnid superpowers. So he donned a black Spider-Man-like suit with a trench coat, vest, and sometimes fedora and became Spider-Man Noir. We also have Spider-Ham. Peter Porker was a spider that resided in May Porker's basement, who was a goofy animal scientist. She invented an atomic hairdryer, and after using it, she went into a fit of hysteria and bit Peter. Peter ended up becoming a human-like pig, just like May, but retained his abilities as a spider, and became Spider-Ham. Clearly, this is a ridiculous concept, but it's meant to be. Plus, it's funny. And who doesn't like a laugh? I like to laugh. Moving along yet again, there's Cosmic Spider-Man. When a lab accident granted Spider-Man the Unipower, his costume was cosmetically changed into the Captain Universe outfit by the Unipower. This version of Spider-Man is godlike, meaning he is extremely powerful. Like, extremely powerful. Then we have another Spider-Man, Old Man Spider-Man. This Spider-Man was actually Ezekiel Sims, who had presumably the same origin or history as his Earth 616 counterpart, until he became Spider-Man and started using a similar outfit as the Peter Parker from Earth 312-500. There's William Braddock, aka Spider-Man UK, who, you guessed it, is the British version of Spider-Man. There's Mangaverse Spider-Man, or just Manga Spider-Man. In the Mangaverse, Peter Parker is the last member of the Spider Clan of ninjas and has been taught martial arts by his sensei, Uncle Ben. After Ben's murder by Venom, an underling of the Kingpin, Peter starts to train in secret so he will be strong enough to exact his revenge. This Spider-Man develops the unexpected ability to shoot webbing, which surprises him entirely. On Earth 2149, we have Zombie Spider-Man. On this Earth, he became a zombie, which led to him eating his wife Mary Jane and Aunt May. In summary, he ate the two people he loved the most. That's a bad day. Then we have a Spider-Man most of us know from the 90s Spider-Man animated series cartoon, Six-Armed Spider-Man. In an effort to eliminate his powers, Peter concocted a potion that instead caused him to grow 4 extra arms. He then visits his only possible confidant, Dr. Kurt Connors, and fights Morbius, the living vampire. Although the stress of confronting Morbius makes Connors transform into the lizard. Eventually, Spider-Man and Connors brew an antidote that turns them back to normal. You have Man-Spider. Man-Spider is a monstrous version of Spider-Man, usually resembling a giant humanoid spider clad in shredded remnants of Peter's costume. There's Spider Doppelganger, who was an evil, near-mindless duplicate of Spider-Man that was created by Magnus during the battle known as the Infinity War. This 6-armed creature was one of many doppelgangers created by Magnus during this conflict. The doppelganger possesses Spider-Man's strength, speed, wall-climbing abilities, and spider sense, and also has 6 arms, claws, fangs, and the ability to produce his own razor-edged webbing. Freaking cool, I know. Then we have a combination of Spider-Man and the Hulk, which gave us Spider-Hulk in Web of Spider-Man issue 70. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's Spider-Man with Hulk-like powers. It didn't last long, but it was definitely awesome to see. Another Spider-Man would be Aaron Aikman from Earth 31411. Aikman was a scientist working for a medical center specializing in the medical application of insect venoms. When he was 24, Aaron secretly underwent an experimental treatment that merged his DNA with that of a genetically altered spider, giving him superhuman abilities. Building a suit of cybernetic armor to augment his powers, Aaron became a Spider-Man to combat the supervillain Red Eye. There's also Indian Spider-Man. He was a poor Indian boy who lived in a village but then moves to Mumbai with his Aunt Maya and Uncle Bim to study after getting a half scholarship. His parents died some years ago and the other boys at his school teased him and beat him up. Chased by other kids, he encounters an ancient yogi who gives him the power of a spider to fight the evil that threatens the world. While discovering his powers, he refuses to help a woman being attacked by several men. He leaves the place but comes back when he hears his uncle's cry, who was stabbed when he tried to help the woman. Thus he understands with great power comes great responsibility. We have Spider-Man Reign. The story has been compared to Batman The Dark Knight Returns, a comparison which Marvel has also quoted when promoting the book, because the two stories both revisit aged heroes after the end of their careers. One of the things most notable about this story is that the story implies Spider-Man gave Mary Jane cancer due to prolonged exposure to his radioactive man fluids. That's not even a lie. You could read it for yourself. Then there's Blood Spider-Man. Very little is known about the man who became Blood Spider. What is known is that he was trained by Taskmaster and is a member of an evil version of the Avengers. And the last Spider-Man I'm going to talk about, because again, I can't mention every single Spider-Man that's ever been made, is Superior Spider-Man. While visiting a dying Otto Octavius, Peter suddenly had his mind swapped with Otto's, allowing Otto to live and run around in Peter's body. But just before Peter died, Otto discovered the true meaning of with great power comes great responsibility, via Peter's heroic memories. So he decided to live up to Peter's legacy and become the Superior Spider-Man. Otto did all he could, but his violent ways of punishing criminals quickly drew ire from everyone around. And while he thought he was doing good, in reality he was depleting people from their freedom and allowing some people to get away, eventually forming an army out for revenge. Led by the Green Goblin, the army attacked and Otto realized his mistakes. When it was revealed that Peter's consciousness still existed within his body, Otto sacrificed himself, allowing Peter to be the true Superior Spider-Man. And that, my comic conrads, is what I think is a decent list of some of the many alternate versions of Spider-Man. But again, I couldn't talk about all of them, so I'm sorry if I didn't mention some of your favorites. When you buy a domain name from domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and easy to use. The guys at domain.com gave Variants an awesome offer. Get 15% off domain.com's already affordable domain names and web hosting when you use the coupon code Variant at checkout. So when you think domain names, think domain.com. First up for Wednesday, July 29th, we have Star Wars issue 7. This is a special one-off tale about Ben Kenobi. Here we have Batgirl issue 42. Batgirl can barely hold her own in combat against the new Batman, so what happens when Livewire joins the fight with the intention of taking them both out? And finally, we have Superman issue 42. Has Lois Lane betrayed Superman with the truth? I guess we'll find out in this issue. And that'll bring another episode of Variant to a close. But remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page to keep up the show and all things comic related. You can also follow Variant on Twitter at Variant Comics, or you can follow my face on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics.
My favorite villain is Dr. Octopus because of all the ways he's messed with Spider-Man, like becoming the Master Planner, creating the Sinister Six, or even killing Spider-Man. He even became Spider-Man himself, which was a really interesting story.
Best Spider-Man villain? For me, it has to be a tie between Venom and Kingpin because both of them are equally evil and equally good villains. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Spider-Man in the Civil War.